Today we are going to learn how to assemble and install a Mast O bracket. First, let's get to know the parts that are required for the assembly. Here we have the main bracket, part number RPB OHMWC MZ8214. Here we have the 50-inch cables, set of 2, part number RPB OHMWCM Z8213. Here we have the mounting clamp, 8-inch clamp, part number RPB OHMWC MZ8300. These are for 12-inch signs. Or the 16-inch clamp, part number RPB OHMWC MZ8301. These are for the 18-inch or larger signs. And finally, the Schedule 40 1.5-inch pipe, part number RPB OHMWCMZ PXX. The last 2 digits in the part name describe the length of the pipe: 16-inch, 32-inch, 44-inch, 64-inch, 82-inch, and 94-inch. The length of the pipe needed is determined by the length of the sign. Okay, let's begin the assembly. The tools you will need include a 9/16-inch wrench, a 1/2-inch wrench, a 9mm wrench, and a can-do attitude. Let's start by assembling the pipe and mounting clamps. Drop the pipe into the clamps. Then fasten the 2 clamps to the pipe on desired centers. This is now your sign mount assembly. Next, move the sign mount assembly to the back of the sign. Then mark and pre-drill holes in the sign. Hardware to mount the sign to the clamps is not included in the assembly. Now, let's prepare the bracket for installation. It may help to rest the bracket on the top of the mast arm to get started. Start by making sure you have the plates labeled L6 and L4 loosened so that you can feed the cable underneath them for securing. Also, remove the sign mount assembly retaining caps. Have the nylon lock nuts lightly fastened to the threaded ends of the cables. Now, feed the 2 cables through the arch slots on each end of the main bracket and pull the cables through the channels underneath the plates labeled L6 and L4. Then tighten the bolts in the plates marked L6 and L4 to secure the cables. Now we are ready to move the bracket into the desired position on the mast arm. Move the bracket into the desired position on the mast arm. Then tighten the lock nut on the cable to pull the bracket tight to the mast arm. Use the 9mm wrench to hold the cable from twisting while tightening the lock nut. Do so on each cable, and the bracket is now ready to receive the sign mount assembly. You can use U-clamps or zip ties to restrain excess cable, or you can run the excess underneath the plates, as you will see in the video. Now let's make sure we have the swivel plate level. Simply set a level on the swivel plate, then twist it until it is level. When satisfied, tighten the bolts in the swivel plate to lock it into position. We are now ready to add the sign mount assembly. Center the sign mount assembly in the assembly retainers molded into the main bracket. Then lightly fasten the retainer caps back to the main bracket. Now adjust the sign mount assembly to the desired angle. Then tighten the retainer caps to the main bracket. This will be the final position of the sign. Make any adjustments if needed. If not, we are now ready to install the sign. To mount the sign, simply bolt the sign to the assembly. And that is how you assemble and install a Mast O bracket. If you have any questions or wish to place an order, call in to speak to one of our friendly customer service representatives. Thanks for watching. Do we know signs? All signs point to yes.